You have a new client?
Who is she?
I can't sleep at night.
I'm the lead programmer on a product that can revolutionize the power industry.
But there is a possibility it can be weaponized.
Elena would need to go.
No! You're not a waitress? No, I'm Jane. Oh.
Who are you?
I'm Bosley.
Welcome to the Townsend agency. We exist because traditional law enforcement can't keep up.
I don't like that, boy.
You guys are like lady spies.
Jane's former MI6.
Oh, God.
What did you do to Sven?
I compressed his carotid and deoxygenated his brainstem.
Well, that sounds painful.
Don't worry. He's gonna wake up. Unless he doesn't.
Sabina runs the ground game.
See, I know stuff.
Let's get the weapon before it becomes every bad guy's favorite new toy. Take her to the closet, cheer her up.
We're gonna need some wigs, toys, clothes.
Ah, we're still in the first closet.
There's another closet.
Aloha! This is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, coming to you live once again from beautiful Hawaii here on the island of Oahu, bringing you, yes you, the best movie reviews on the entire island of Oahu. And yes, this is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man. And yesterday, opening weekend, Saturday, Friday, November 15th, opening weekend for the new Charlie's Angel movie. I went ahead and I saw it, and remember our rating scale, Shaka thumbs up. It's good to see, I recommend it. Shaka thumbs down. It's junk. I don't recommend it. And, well, for the new Charlie's Angels movie that stars Kristen Stewart from, from those vampire movies, Naomi Scott coming off her great, co-starring as Jasmine in Aladdin, and also former to that, the Power Rangers as the Red Ranger. We have, there's the Pink Ranger. And we also stars Elizabeth Banks, and I think newcomer Ella Balinska. Ella Balinska. I hadn't seen her in anything, but she's a very attractive and pretty woman, and I'd like to see her in much, much more. And again, this stars also Patrick Stewart. And without further ado, it is a Shaka thumbs down for the new Charlie's Angels movie. When I first saw the trailers for this and heard talk that they're going to be restarting a new Charlie's Angels kind of movie, because I thought we just had like a TV show that was rebooted for Charlie's Angels. And tell you the truth, I was not excited at all, especially when I found Kristen Stewart, was going to go ahead and be in this. I'm not a fan of hers from Twilight. I enjoyed the first couple of Twilight movies. I think I saw the first 3, and then after that, I read the final book, and I never saw the last movie. I'd see it with my cousins, and we'd joke about, the werewolf guy always had to take off his shirt and be shirtless whenever he was talking to Bella. But I'm not here to talk to you about Twilight, because then I won't stop. But this is for the new Charlie's Angels movie. Kristen Stewart stars. There was a lot of hype, a lot of positivity about this movie. I've heard from some reviewers that they said, okay, it's not great, but it's okay. So that kind of bolstered me a little bit. So I said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and see this. Other than that, I wasn't going to see it at all. And like I said, it is a solid Shaka thumbs down. It is junk. It is junk. It is not okay. I don't know, John Campea? Yeah, I'm calling you out, Campea. This movie was junk. You said it was okay. It's junk. This is as bad, if not It's almost as bad. It's maybe just a little bit more tolerable than the Kingmen and the Golden Circle, which was also shock a thumbs down. If you see my old review, that was junk. This is a total disservice and slap in the face to the wonderful 70s show, which I remember I watched, you know, old Farrah Fawcett, Jacqueline Smith, even Cheryl Ladd came on to take over for, Farrah Fawcett when she left. And it was a very good crime drama on television, and it had little glimpses of comedy in the TV shows. Then came in the 90s, Charlie's Angels, the new movies with Drew Barrymore, Lucy Liu, and Cameron Diaz. And let me just say that, I think it came out in, when was that? 1995, I think, right? No, 1996, I believe. Yeah, 1996, it came out because a couple of buddies of mine, we hadn't seen any movies for a while. We go out, we find a theater. I was over there in Pensacola, Florida, and we look at the box office. And, we hadn't heard any of these movies. We had no chance to see any previews or trailers or anything at the time. We were kind of isolated, and we were finally set free, and we were going to see a movie. And we saw, okay, at the box office, Unbreakable, Charlie's Angels. And I say, hey, guys, let's see this Unbreakable movie. It sounds kind of interesting. And they said, no way, man. Let's go see Charlie's Angels. And it's like, well, okay. So begrudgingly, I went and I saw it. Had hot chicks in it. So, of course, we went ahead and saw it. And it wasn't bad. I mean, it had some good comedy in it and decent action. It was kind of comedic action, not real martial arts. Very much the wushu kind of, gimmicky kung fu kind of stuff. And then I looked forward to, part 2 with Cameron Diaz, Lucy Liu, and, Drew Barrymore. And that one, once again, did not disappoint, even though they switched out the Bosleys. But this movie with Kristen Stewart, Naomi Scott, and Ella Balinski, directed by Elizabeth Banks, who also stars in the movie, is just garbage. It's junk. I am serious. Don't waste your money on this. Maybe when it's on TV, don't even waste your money to get it on iTunes for $1 or streaming. Just wait till it's on normal TV, HBO or something, and just watch it there. I guess when it comes to Netflix, or it'll probably end up on Amazon Prime, you can go ahead and watch it there. But you don't want to spend any money to watch this movie. First of all, let me just tell you straight up, they do acknowledge the 70s show and, the former movies. Basically, it is the next evolution of that. It is not a reboot. Patrick Stewart basically stars, in this movie. He is one of the Bosleys, and basically he was in the, remember the old 70s show, where there was this other guy as Tom Bosley. Well, they erase him and say that Patrick Stewart was that Bosley, and he carried it with Charlie past Farrah Fawcett, Jacqueline Smith, Cheryl Ladd, into the new evolution, into the movies with Drew Barrymore, totally erasing Bill Murray and the other comedian that was in Charlie's Angels Part 2. So they totally erase him and just say that Patrick Stewart was in this. And after the events of that last movie, Patrick Stewart as Bosley, and with Charlie's help, takes it, the Townsend Detective Agency worldwide into this ultra spy-like organization think of it as the Kingsmen. Very much so, but the female feminist, ultra-feminist version of the Kingsmen, where it's not men, even though the Kingsmen had a couple of women in it, as King's women, but they were King's men still. This is all just women, and only women can be the agents in this. The Bosleys don't count, and as we find out, Elizabeth Banks turns out to be another one of the Bosleys. So gender doesn't really matter in it, as long as you're female. But yeah, and you can tell that they really push like a feminine agenda within the first 5 minutes of this movie. And even some people, if you look at some of the trailers, some of the talk with this movie, they're really pushing that idea. Think of, the reboot of the Ghostbusters with the feminine, with the female stars, taken to the 9th degree, amped up to number 11. And that's how they make this Charlie's Angels, this new one. The characters are totally uncharismatic with each other. They totally don't work. There is basically, you have kind of a small origin story with this team between Kristen Stewart and Ella Balinska as the main core of the team. And they go to rescue Naomi Scott in a plot that is directly from the 1996 Charlie's Angels movie, in a way. That there's this computer program, kind of like Red Star, that the bad guy wants to get his hands on. But unlike Red Star for the 1996 Charlie's Angels, this one will be used to kill people and assassinate people. It does something to your brain that will cause you to have seizures. And basically, it's going to be utilized as the #1 primary assassination tool, and that nobody can detect. Naomi Scott, since she worked on it with this company, tries to be the whistleblower. Nobody listens to her, and so she somehow gets in contact with the Townsend agency for help in this. During, the debacle of Kristen Stewart and Ella Balinska attempting to work together and butting heads, and basically getting in each other's way since they are not compatible at all, and nobody has any chemistry on screen with one another. Naomi Scott does the best that she can with them, and she actually feels a little relatable as portraying this computer engineer, scientist, trying to prevent this catastrophe. However, in coming to grips with this adventure, the Townsend agency basically hires her as the third angel for this team, as magically Naomi Scott, Kristen Stewart, and Ella Balinska, by the end of this, movie, goes ahead and, magically finds out that they can work great together. Ridiculous. Along with the plot. And Elizabeth Banks ought to be ashamed of herself. She stars in this movie, and she's in a good chunk of it, which she didn't need to be. And whatever she does behind the camera, directing this, maybe, I'm not sure who wrote this, but it was trash. She could have at least, tried to punch it up a little bit. All the action, whereas you had at least comedic, far-out fantasy and the Drew Barrymore, Lucy Liu, and Cameron Diaz Charlie's Angels with the martial arts. In this one, you don't get to see any of the martial arts action or set pieces. They are nothing but a lot of close-up clinches, a lot of jump cut, shaky cam. You can't see anybody throwing a punch or a kick. So obviously they didn't spend any time, perfecting the action set pieces, and all of the jokes fall flat from Kristen Stewart and Ella Balinska. Naomi Scott, just because of her, sparkly personality, some of her jokes land, but most of it, all the comedy other than that, falls very flat and just turns out to be awful. I admit that I'm not the target audience for this movie. Perhaps young teenage girls will enjoy this movie. There were several in the audience when I saw the movie Friday. I heard them giggling and laughing. I don't know if they were as bored as I was and were just checking out their phone or texting or doing whatever with each other. But, they were very loud and it sounded like they were enjoying the movie. I don't know. Maybe they weren't. Maybe they weren't even paying attention to the movie, because I was so bored in this movie for the first half. And by the second half, I was really hoping that the action, that the plot finally got moving, that there was going to be some resolution there. And, even Patrick Stewart and his wonderful acting ability cannot save this movie. And I fear for, his future with the Picard Star Trek series coming out on the Paramount Network, that the Paramount streaming service, or whatever, the CBS All Access, that, this is a foreshadow. Charlie's Angels and his part in this is a foreshadow of the upcoming terrible, what could be for the Picard series. Because he does star as, Bosley's the leader of this group, taking on, bad guys, and oh my God, I hope, his Star Trek show doesn't turn out like this, because everything he does in this, that you could see him being Picard in this, just falls terribly flat. It's awful. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but basically whatever he does in this movie is just awful. Everyone in this movie is awful. Kristen Stewart is a good actress, but and she looks like she's having fun in this show, in this movie, but she's not really doing anything. It's like she's just on autopilot, because she's that good that it's like, oh, I didn't even read the script for this movie. I don't need to worry about it, because probably what she did was much better than the script, had written for her. Same thing with Naomi Scott, but oh my God, just what they had written was just awful. And neither of those two decent actresses can save this movie from the crap that it is. I can't tell you any worse than that. Don't go see this movie. Shock a thumbs down. Just wait till it comes on TV, normal TV, when you're flipping through the USA movie of the weekend. It'll be there soon enough. According to reports, Deadline reported that it only made $8 million on its opening day. So Friday, not looking good for it for the weekend. So whatever expectations were for this movie, they certainly didn't make it. Word of mouth has gotten out, and I'm giving you my word of mouth out of my mouth. Don't see this movie. It's a waste of your money. Charlie's Angels, shock a thumbs down. That's all I can say, despite good acting by Kristen Stewart, Naomi Scott. And, I would like to see some more from Ella Balinska. I don't think I've seen her in anything. But unfortunately, this movie will tarnish her. So I don't know what she might go into next. but, you know, she had a shot. And this movie basically, you know, gut punches everybody. I think only Naomi Scott and Kristen Stewart will make it out of this. Naomi Scott more just because of Jasmine and Aladdin, maybe Aladdin 2, she'll be in it. All right, thank you so much. This is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, saying don't go see Charlie's Angels, this newest version. It's complete junk. Shaka thumbs down. All right, thank you so much, and aloha.